Hello, everyone. I know it's been long since we did this type of video, but I'm back and I'm gonna be posting regularly now. So, yeah, it's been long I did videos, especially these types of videos, mapping videos, and I've been making shorts. But videos like this with my webcam, unlikely. So, yeah, I'm back and I'm gonna be posting regularly. And today I've decided to start a series called What If Humanity Started Over, inspired by Edis Pro with his What If Civilization Started Over. But I'm going to call it What If Humanity Started Over. And it's going to be a pretty cool series, and I hope I can make it interesting. And if you like this series, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Now, you may remember this series as one series that I started like some many months ago, like almost a year ago, as What If Civilization Started Over by me. But I deleted that series because it was crap. And yeah, we're gonna start it over again. And if you wonder why my phone quality is so much better, it's because they got me a new phone. Yeah, and the quality is so good. Like, it's a Samsung. This is my old phone over here, so this is where I recorded my old videos. So yeah, this is not very impressive. Although I'm still grateful for the phone you gave me. Like, they gave me, like, I'm still grateful. This is such a great phone, and thank you so much for buying me this phone. I appreciate it a lot. But now let's start into the video. I'm just gonna drop this over here on the table, and we'll talk about that later. Now, this series is about we're gonna start the first human settlement. Now, before we start, I'm gonna have to tell something. This is our world, and just this is a scenario where all the humans have either disappeared or gone to another place, and all the things built by humans just disappeared out of nowhere. So it's just nature and nature and nature everywhere, and seas and beautiful animals and everything. But humans and things made by humans, phew, gone. So, but there are gonna be two humans left on the earth. Not all of them, only two humans, one man and one woman. And you can already guess what will happen. They do, and they start having children, and then children go to more children, then more people, more people, more people, my poo poo, more people, and more people. So then that happens over here in northern Israel. Oh my god. I selected the wrong thing. So the first settlement is gonna happen over here in northern Israel, and it's gonna have a few. It's gonna have like around 200 people for now, and yeah, it's not very impressive. We're just gonna wait a few hundred years, a few like 100 years for it to grow. So what is me and you? I'm basically in this scenario. I'm basically like in this world. I'm basically like, let's say, God, but I don't want to make myself God. I don't want to make myself God. So I'm just an observer from outside. So yeah, let's wait a few hundred years and see what happens. Oh, oh, dee dee dee. Oh, oh, dee 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 dee. Adam, Odom. Hey, hey, hey. Woo woo. Ba-da-bum. Ah. Now, if you like my dancing, rate my dancing in the comments. I don't dance well. I'm sorry for just making everybody click off the video. Sorry, but well. Let's continue to back to what I was saying. And yeah, this thing starts expanding a little bit more. It goes into the Egyptian area, into this what was this? No, it wasn't Egyptian. It was like the Sinai Peninsula. I hope it's called the Sinai Peninsula. If it's not called the Sinai Peninsula, I'm gonna like slap myself. But I think it's called the Sinai Peninsula. But well, in real life, Sinai Peninsula is part of Egypt anyway. So yeah, but they go into the Sinai Peninsula and reach this Nile Delta, Nile Basin, Nile whatever you want to call it, And they start going down this Nile thing that is green, that has a lot of things. They start going over there. Yeah, and in real life, everybody in Egypt, almost the majority of Egypt's population lives here, and it has been in Egypt's history ever since ancient history, since time of the pharaohs. The Egyptian empires have been settled around this area, and all the population has been in this area. This area is very important in Egyptian history and also in Sudanese history and a lot of African countries' history, but very important. But yeah, that's why in this scenario, the Israelis or Israelites or Israel or the Israel. Well, I'm just gonna call them Israelites because I like them the name Israelites. So I'll just call them. I'll just say Israel. So Israel. It's obvious Israel wants to go over here. So yeah. So but Israel makes a tiny mistake, and that's that they have a around like they have around like 8,000 people now. So expanding too much like this with such a low population, and you're not really you're not really like settling it. So what happens is that when they go into this very good fertile area, the explorers, aren't very, which they aren't treated very well. So when they go into this very fertile area, they see, oh, this is very fertile. What could we do? These explorers aren't treated well. They don't feed them well. They don't like the system of government of Israel. They just go over here and just they wait for the perfect moment, and they split away and form the Mesopotamian Empire. Now this is based over Mesopotamia. So Mesopotamia didn't like Israel's way of government for some reason. I say for some reason because Israel is like a good government. They have good education. They care for the people. Well, they care for the people, even though the style of government is a little bit no. It seems not to care for the people. Like you have a king, and then is the government's like ruled by the rich, but it's still a very good government, and the rich people wish the best for the government. Unlike some scenarios, like you know, but um, but this Mesopotamia is like they want to be like a powerful country and show themselves, and they only care. This Mesopotamia, just take for example ancient Greece. You have Sparta. This is Sparta. You have Sparta, and then you have Athens. And in those times, Athens was like a calm, them, and everything. But Sparta was like, they wanted to make their military strong and be a very powerful country to like take over everything. At least I think so. But that is something similar to this. They only focus on the military, and they also only focus on expansion and becoming sure who's the boss. And yeah, they do that, and they expand it a lot, and yeah, they reach the Persian area and start. They even they even cut off this like unexplored area, and very soon they start noticing, oh, Persia is very mountainous, and yeah, they don't like that. But Persia also has a lot of values. In fact, many is so valuable that many empires came out of this, like the Achaemenid Empire. By the way, spoilers for the alternative future of the world. Spoilers for the alternative future of the world 5. The Achaemenid Empire is gonna do big things alongside their body, the Dutch Empire. But I'm not gonna explain anything more because that's already too much. That's already too much information. So yeah, I have that, and the Achaemenid Empire is looking thick, and they're much. Even though Israel has more population, Israel now has around 20,000 people, and Persia only has around it's close. It's like 17,000 people, but even though Israel has more people, Persia militarizes like a ton of their population, so they're like jacked. They are jacked, and eventually they start making more expansions, and they decide to like go over in the north of Turkey, and start like going up this coast to see like what is going on over here. I discovered that Turkey is a pretty nice area. And yeah, they just started expanding a little bit more in Turkey until they stopped because Turkey is a little bit mountainous over here. But when they stopped, they decided to go over here into the Caucasian region. They reached Azerbaijan and continue to go up until they reach the Caucasian mountains. Now, Caucasia, now Persia sees that I'm not calling it Mesopotamia anymore because it's not really like it came from Mesopotamia, but now they're more of a Persian thing. But well, I'm just gonna call it Persia now. But they reach the Caucasian mountains, and now Persia sees that maybe now we could show Israel that we're a really powerful country, and we can do whatever we want to become powerful and great and form our great powerful empire, and we will be remembered for history. So they try to say this that since they notice it's colder here and it looks like there's more land up here, they try and cross over. But there's a slight issue. Um Persia is not prepared. They didn't prepare their men, the explorers to like it's kind of funny how Persia. You know what's funny? Persia didn't want to work for Israel, and another reason for that was because they were forcing them to work too much. But now they're doing the same thing to the others. So Persia doesn't really set a good example to why they broke away from Israel. But well, that's the thing. That's beside the point. Let's just continue. So Persia says that, but they want to cross this, but their men aren't prepared. And let me tell you what. Let me tell you something about the Caucasian Mountains. The Caucasian Mountains are a set of very tall, snowy, and dangerous mountains to navigate through. And if you're not prepared, you know what's gonna happen if you're not prepared to go through this area? You're probably gonna die. You're gonna die probably. So you should probably be prepared in case you want to go through areas like this. But the Persia decide to do the stupid decision to not prepare themselves before going into there. What's gonna happen? Thousands and thousands of their men die, and Persia sent around for example, 5,000 people to go on this exploration because they say, okay, we can't make Persia. We have to make. They tell them make Persia great, and if you refuse, you die. So, yeah, not a very good thing, but yeah, they managed to cross it, but with only few little people, and yeah, they go up here and they like go up here, then also go up here, then they discover Crimea. So they say Israel. It's still Israel. Hey, Israel, we're better than you. We're bigger than you. We're greater than you. And Israel doesn't even care because Israel is focusing on itself. They're like, okay, let's see what our problems are and let's make them better. They're all for the people. They're all for themselves. Well, and they also want to make trade sometime, even though they're very big enemies. But they are like a good nation, Israel's like, so when Persia tells them that Israel's gonna go do whatever you want, leave me alone, damn it. And yeah, Persia just sees this and just say, I don't care. So yeah, they just continue like expanding, and eventually they capture all of this southern Russian area. And yeah, um they do that, and now they're looking very thick. But there's a problem when empires get very big, that they don't assimilate this land, even though well, there's no need to assimilate it because, as I told you, no cultures, no religions, no type of people, no anything to like kind of like stop you there or like disturb you to like so yeah, but still, if you capture so much land like this, it still isn't a good idea, even though there's nobody there, because it's too much land to handle. You have to control many things. So, there's gonna be a point where the Persian Empire sees this and just says, okay, let me just take a little bit more land, and let me just take a little bit more land here, and they say, okay, it's time to like stop a little, but don't worry, we're still gonna expand a little bit more later. Let's just say this and just say, okay. And Persia is looking very thick, very big, very huge, very ginormous, very tough, very big, but big boy. So very thick. Now we're just gonna focus back on Israel, is also gonna do some expanding, even though they're also focusing. Just because you're focusing on yourself doesn't mean you can do some expansion. Sometimes you can also do some expansion, just that not as regularly, not as often as. Oh my God, why is everywhere red? Okay, so they capture this whole Egyptian area for themselves and just say, okay, we've got that under our control. Then they start going down the Arabian coast, and they're now facing each other, and is in their capital, which I'm also going to call Jerusalem because I want to. Is in their capital that some scientist who I'm going to call Paul, no, no scientists, just where a group of people by the government of Israel decide to create something amazing. The first boat! Israel creates the boat, which this is gonna get them more technologically advanced than Persia. Now, even though Persia has the military and they could just come here and just roll over, well, no, because Israel is still powerful. I mean, Persia is stronger than Israel, but just by a little, So yeah, but Israel, they're like, yay! But Persia's like, no, you're smarter than me. You have more strategy than me. What are we gonna do? You're bad. So Persia does not like this because even though they're stronger, Israel is like more technologically advanced, which can cause problems. So yeah, they don't like this. But still, Israel still makes sure to make some expansion, and with their invention of their boat, they can go over and they discover Cyprus, which is quite cool. Oh my God. Okay, it's quite cool how they discover Cyprus. I like it. And yeah, they discover it. And they just continue the expansion. They go over Libya and start like exploring more. To explore more, they go over the coast. Obviously over the coast, because down here is just desert and very hot, so they don't want to go over here. They go into the Tripoli area and just stop there. Decide to stop there, and now they go further down the Arabian coast and this area, and they also go down in the African portion of the Red Sea. And yeah, they stop over here because now they're starting to get a little bit large, but they don't stop not until they catch this portion of Turkey. And now this area starts becoming a little bit tense because the Persians and Israel have a longer border than usual, and this land here is up for grabs. But something is gonna happen here. Something is gonna happen here in just a second. A new nation forms, which is Little Greece. Now, I'm not gonna call this little because something big is gonna happen in the next episode with this country, and yeah, you're gonna be fearing this country soon. Oh, spoilers! I'm sorry. But Greece is looking pretty. Like they're like a middle player. Like they're just looking at this and just okay, let me ignore that. That's none of our business. But now they start their great conquest into Europe, and this is our first. It's now I noticed this is our first European nation. So yeah, congratulations, Greece. They start and they it reaches a point where they say, okay, I'm tired. I don't want to expand anymore. Let me focus on myself. And yeah, so that's the thing. And Greece is just there, and it's just there. Israel wants to be friends with them, but Persia, as always, as the big fat loser that they are, they don't want to be friends. They want to be enemies. They want to conquer this land. They're angry because they wanted to conquer the rest of Turkey or Anatolia, and they wanted to explore. Once they figure out that there was a new land here, they wanted to conquer all of this land and enter into Europe and eventually like conquer all of Europe. But now that there's Greek countries in the world, they kind of like foiled the plans. Like obviously they still have this area up here which they can go, but they're still angry. They wanted to go through here. Oh yeah, you can't do that anymore. And yeah, that's the thing. And for now, I still haven't like introduced capitals. Now the capital of Greece is here. The capital of Israel is here, and the capital of Persia is here. So yeah, just wanted to add that just to be sure. But now let's continue with things. Persia, still frustrated about the new Greek nation spoiling their plans for them, decides to go into another like expansion rampage, which this is gonna affect them soon. And yeah, they start like going like more up to the school areas and say report back. The scientists of Persia report back and say, okay, there's some good places here. Yeah, we'll commend you. And the general, like the dictator. Yeah, I just forgot to not mention, Israel is like a free nation. It isn't a democracy because it's ruled by the rich and the king, but it's 40 people, so it's the best nation and best government you could have right now. Greece is like a, it's like a, it's like ruled by many people. It's ruled by many people, ruled by many rulers. I think it's an autocracy. I think that was called, but aristocracy it's just no. It's not ruled by one person. It's ruled by many people. It's ruled by many. But yeah, and Persia is just a full-on dictator. So one man controls everything, and you have to listen to him because if you don't listen to him, it's over for you and your generations of families. But they decide to go into another like expansion rampage, and they start getting near to a certain area which many people have been going into this area, which is India, and they started reporting back. Many of them never came back, which is going to play a very good role into the next episode, which I'm going to make right after I make this episode because I want you guys to enjoy. But many don't come back, and some of them come back and they report back a very beautiful land filled of nature, filled of farmable land, one of the best places ever to live. They report back and say that. So Persia is starting to get interested about this, and it's far away from Israel's or Greece's, especially Greece's reach. So they can have all this land to themselves. Now, have in mind in the next episode, this is gonna come down to the downfall, and some other nations might not have anything. And some other nations might have something to do with that, especially nation. But this is gonna cause some problems for Persia. But I'm doing too many information. Let's get back to what we're doing. And yeah, Persia still continues on the expansion rampage, still now going to Central Asia, which is just useless to them because Central Asia doesn't really have anything to offer. Just a bunch of dry, barren, empty land. Doesn't have anything. Well, it has things. It has a lot of resources, but just dry, flat, hot land, arid land. Like, there's not really anything useful for them for now here. But just continue expanding, and they reach their limit. Well, they don't reach their limit. They just decide to stop expanding because they're becoming too big now. Well, not until they start to go more into the the Arabian area. Just decide to expand here and go down the coast. And they go down the coast until they reach like this Kuwaiti area, and yeah, just reach here and decide to stop. And Persia is by far the biggest nation and most powerful nation right now. So yeah, that is gonna be that's not gonna be the end of this video. I'm just gonna do one last thing before ending this video, and that is some small Israeli expansion. They just see, okay, there's more land up there. Let's try and explore. Holy moly, what? they reached the northern Algerian and Tunisian area. And then they realized this area is green. This area is flourished, and they just say, oh my God, this place is horrible. It's just reach Morocco and they just say this is heaven. This is heaven. This is heaven. They reach down here and just say this is heaven. This is heaven. I did notice there's more land over here, but they're not gonna expand for now because they say, okay, this is too much. Well, not before they expand a little bit more into Africa and reach this point, which is a point they create a very big port here, and that port is eventually gonna convert itself into a very big major city. And they reach here and they start expanding more into this Arabian area. And Israel is starting. I don't know who is larger, who is bigger, Israel or Persia. Tell me in the comments, because this is a hard guess. So, but Israel is a very noticeable empire, and they start to expand more into their Arabian claims, and it becomes notable that Israel is starting to become much stronger than Persia. So, and this makes Persia kind of mad. So, because you don't want to have, because Israel is already the most richest country, the most educational country, most technologically advanced country, and you don't want them having the manpower too. Because if not, Israel will be OP, that will be overpowered, and Persia, that will be Persia's nightmare. So yeah, that's gonna be the end of this video, and have a nice time. See you next episode. Bye bye.